There are moments in Hollywood that make headlines for a few days, and then there are stories that continue unfolding for years. The relationship between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie belongs to the second category. Once celebrated as one of the world's most admired couples, they built a family that seemed to represent love, success, and a life filled with opportunity. Today, however, much of the public conversation is no longer about their careers or their famous romance. Instead, attention has shifted to something far more personal, the growing distance between Brad Pitt and several of his children. What has captured so much attention is not a single interview or emotional statement. It is a series of legal decisions made quietly over time. One by one, members of the Jolie Pitt family have chosen to remove or stop using the Pitt surname. These actions weren't rumors spread on social media or anonymous claims from tabloids. They became matters of public record through official legal filings, professional credits, and personal decisions that attracted worldwide attention. For many people watching from the outside, the obvious question became, what happened inside one of Hollywood's most famous families? The discussion became even more intense after Shiloh, the first biological child of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, reached adulthood. On the very day she turned 18, she reportedly filed paperwork requesting that Pitt be removed from her legal name. According to multiple media reports, she hired her own attorney and covered the legal expenses herself without assistance from either parent. Whether people viewed the decision as symbolic or deeply personal, the timing immediately became part of the story. She didn't wait months or years. As soon as she was legally able to make the decision on her own, she acted. Shiloh's choice did not appear in isolation. It became part of a larger pattern that had already begun to emerge within the family. Some of her siblings had already begun identifying themselves publicly without the Pitt surname, while others would later take similar legal steps. Each decision happened independently and at different stages of adulthood, but together they raised questions that no public statement has fully answered. Why were several children making the same kind of choice, and what experiences had shaped those decisions? To understand why these events have received so much attention, it's important to remember how this family first came together. Brad Pitt was already one of Hollywood's biggest stars when he met Angelina Jolie during the production of Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2004. At the time, Pitt was still married to Jennifer Aniston, making every development surrounding the new relationship a constant source of media coverage. Although the exact timeline of their romance has long been debated, what followed was undeniable. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie became one of the most recognizable couples in the entertainment industry. As their relationship grew, so did their family. Angelina had already adopted Maddox from Cambodia before Brad entered her life. Later, Zahara joined the family through adoption from Ethiopia. Brad eventually became the legal father of both children. The family continued to expand with the adoption of Pax from Vietnam before welcoming their biological children, Shiloh in 2006, followed by twins Knox and Vivian in 2008. Together they became a family of 8, admired by millions and photographed almost everywhere they went. For years, the Jolie Pitt family seemed almost untouchable. They appeared together on red carpets, traveled around the world, supported humanitarian causes, and balanced demanding careers with raising 6 children. Their public image projected stability, generosity, and success. While every family has private struggles, few people imagined that such a dramatic separation would eventually unfold. To many observers, they represented the modern Hollywood family that had somehow found a way to make it all work. After spending nearly a decade together, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie finally married in a private ceremony at Château Miraval in France during the summer of 2014. The wedding was small, intimate, and centered around their children, who played an important role in the celebration. At the time, many believed this marked the beginning of a new chapter for the family. Instead, it would become one of the final happy moments before everything changed in ways that would dominate headlines for years to come. Less than 2 years after the wedding, the relationship reached a breaking point. In September 2016, Angelina Jolie filed for divorce. The filing shocked fans around the world because the couple had spent years building an image of unity and commitment. Very quickly, reports began focusing on an alleged incident that had taken place aboard a private flight carrying the entire family from France to Los Angeles. What happened during that flight would become one of the most disputed chapters in the story, leading to investigations, legal filings, and years of public debate. From that point forward, the family's future would no longer be defined by movie premieres or humanitarian work. Instead, it would be shaped by courtroom battles, custody disputes, conflicting public narratives, and deeply personal choices made by 6 children growing into adulthood under extraordinary public attention. Nearly a decade later, those events continue to influence how the world views one of Hollywood's most famous families, and the story is still unfolding. As of 2026, several legal disputes connected to Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie remain unresolved. Beyond the divorce itself, the former couple has continued battling over Chateau Miraval, the French winery they once owned together, in multiple courts. At the same time, several of their children have either legally removed or publicly stopped using the Pitt surname, decisions that have fueled ongoing public interest. While these actions have become part of the public record, none of the children has offered a detailed public explanation for their choices. Brad Pitt has repeatedly said through representatives that he loves his children and hopes to repair their relationships one day. Angelina Jolie has consistently maintained that protecting her children has always been her highest priority. The allegations surrounding the family's private jet incident in 2016 were investigated by authorities, but no criminal charges were filed against Brad Pitt. Even so, the events surrounding that period continue to shape public discussion and remain one of Hollywood's most talked-about family stories. Only the people inside the Jolie family truly know everything that happened behind closed doors. The public has seen court filings, legal battles, and personal decisions, but much of the family's story has never been shared openly. Whether reconciliation will happen in the future remains uncertain. For now, what was once known as Hollywood's most admired family continues to be remembered as one of its most complicated and heartbreaking stories. Nearly 10 years after Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie separated, the impact of their split continues to make headlines. Their divorce proceedings officially ended, but other legal disputes, including the battle over Chateau Miraval, the French winery they once co-owned, have continued through the courts. What began as one of Hollywood's greatest love stories eventually became one of its longest-running legal conflicts, with both sides standing firmly by their positions while keeping many personal details private. The biggest focus, however, has never been the property or the lawsuits. It has been the children. Maddox, Zahara, Shiloh, Vivian, Knox, and Pax have each grown into adulthood under extraordinary public attention. Several have legally removed or publicly dropped the Pitt surname, while others have chosen to use only Jolie in public settings. These decisions became official through court filings, professional credits, and public records rather than interviews or social media posts. Although these actions have fueled worldwide discussion, none of the children has given a full public explanation about why they made those choices.